Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Katamaraws.
We're here again with another episode of Laging Tamaraw ang mga Tamaraws, where we interview our co-Tamaraws about the pressing issues circulating here in the Philippines.
Yes naman, in this episode, we will talk about myth-making in ethnographic photographs and its relationship with the emergence of the social media.
And so let's begin. Let's introduce our co-Tamaraws that will be here with us today. So let's begin with the IHSN department, which is Richmond Quejada.
Our second guest is from the IS department, which is Isabel Almario.
And lastly, for the IABF department, namely Felipe Ramirez and Rachel Toloca.
Okay, so Katamaraws, so before we start, sahin muna natin ang mga Katamaraws natin.
Yes! Kamusta kaya ang ating mga co-Tamaraws sa finals? Siguro let's start with Richmond.
Hello guys and to all na nakikinig sa podcast na to. I'm doing good naman, and since nagpa-finals na, medyo busy na, and focus na ulit sa studies.
Ayun, same lang kay Richmond. Ramdam na ramdam ko na yung finals, parang kinakawawa. Pero kinakaya naman.
Hello, okay lang kayo kasi ako stress na pero okay lang naman, nakakaya pa naman yung finals.
Okay, thank you, Katamaraws. So it's good to hear naman that our Katamaraws are doing well despite of the pressure of the final. Yeah, I like your energy. I like the energy now. So shall we begin na ba?
Yes, I think I'm very excited na to hear the sentiments of our co-Tamaraws. Siguro let's start muna with preliminary questions para like muna, no?
Agree ako dyan. So let's start muna by asking our Katamaraws about the background about myth-making in ethnographic photographs and reading about the old photographs. So siguro simulan muna natin kay Rachel Jolola.
So, kilalanin muna natin kung sino yung author nito. So, yung author nito is si Marian Pastor Roses, and nag-finish siya ng Bachelor of Arts in Communication. And nag-graduate sa St. Therese College, and nag-freelance siya, parang self-employed na as an essayist and a critic. So, let me discuss about sa old photographs. Yung old photographs, it says there na parang photographs is a cultural force, and since yung status niya, yung we keep them in a good place para hindi mawala sa atin yung history natin. And kasi since yung old photographs is nag-help siya ng history natin. Yung old photographs is nag-help siya para makita na kung ano yung dati, kung ancestors natin. Tsaka yung mga old photographs na yung mga historians ganun, kinikip nila yun parang may record pa rin tayo and yung mga future generations natin about sa past natin. And naman sa ethnographic photograph, so ating dati kasi mga foreigners na pupunta dito sa Philippines is they want to take a photo of yung mga indigenous tribes natin dito sa Philippines. So pag pupunta sila doon, they usually take photos na parang kung ano yung nahanap nila, parang kaiba to, so I'll take a picture of it. Mostly nagpipicture kasi yung mga tao na nakabahag, and yung time na to is nag-lead siya, parang pag na-publish na nito yung pictures na yun, nag-lead siya sa parang yung mga tao nag-lead siya dun sa mga pictures na yun, leading na parang magkakaroon ng wrong ideas yung mga tao sa pinag-publishan na yun. And with this, parang yung parang advantage nila dun, parang pinabend nila yung truth, ang picture, para sa benefit na yun, para sa benefit nila.
So, yan, ka-partner. Agree ka ba dun, ka-partner?
I agree, ka-partner.
Yes. I-comment ko lang natin ito ko, Tamaraw. Talagang very specific. Talagang pati yung details about the essay. Alam niya, no? Better ko lang na, alam mo ba na based dun sa read, basa ko lang, photographs are used by our ancestors or by our losses and solos to somehow alleviate their grief or losses with regards to their loved one. Tinatawag na ito requirements. And with that benefit, syempre meron din setback ethnographic photography, particularly this imperative that we have been exploited, especially gamit tayo as subject for their experiment.
That was only our preliminary question, pero mainit-init na yung discussion natin. So, pinag-isip ba ng partner?
Actually, yes, wala pa tayo sa main question, pero talagang juicy na ng discussion natin. Pero syempre ka partner, hindi ka makaka-discuss dito. Ikaw naman ang aking tatanungin. So, ang aking question for you is that brief history about ethnographic photography in the Philippines and how it was utilized for individuals to portray indigenous people.
Wala, parang bibigla na. Pero sige. So, according to Ethnographic Photograph ND, yung ethnographic photography, na-develop siya noong 19th century. So, ang ina-aim neto is to document the culture, yung ways ng living ng mga indigenous people, pero may disadvantage siya na pwede siya mag-play ng role sa myth-making. So, si Dean Worcester is, he was an American zoologist na ini-utilize yung ethnographic photograph to depict indigenous people here in the Philippines noong through colonial biases and stereotypes. So, yung mga images na tinake niya, hindi lang siya for document, it is also serve as a advancing as a colonial agendas. So, ang primary aim, ano ba ang primary aim ng ethnographic photography? So, during ng colonialism, it was transformed from the portrayal of indigenous people from savage daw to civilized. So, basically, ang reason nila here, kaya nila tayo parang colonialism, kaya sila nandito, is parang in-educate nila tayo because we were savage daw, and parang ginagawa nila tayo to a more civilized people. So with that, yung aim nila here, dun sa pag-photograph nila, nag-contribute to sa myth-making, nag-generate to ng biases and stereotypes na naaano sa mga indigenous people natin here in the Philippines.
Oh, that was very insightful ka, partner. Pero dagdag ko lang dun sa sagot mo na in one of the researches conducted by Andrea Hickman, syempre nag-research ako, handa ako dito eh. So, ang sinasabi niya dun na ethnographic photography during the American colonialism was rampant because this serves as a justification for their colonialism because we were labeled as uncivilized or primitive individuals. So, parang nag-a-act sila as heroes kasi ang Americans daw are sinakop tayo to educate us and to dress us. So, kaya makikita mo sa picture here na from being undressed to being parang respected person, di ba?
Yeah, I agree with you, partner. And to add up lang, based on the reading, nasabi doon na yung photograph is power. So, kasi the photograph has the power to influence and change the viewpoints of someone. So, with that, sa mga kinakalat nila sa mga ethnographic photographs, nag-change yung perception ng ibang tao, ng mga foreign people when it comes to our indigenous tribe. So with that, at dahil tapos na ako, pagtanong naman tayo sa ating mga Hotamaraws na in what ways do ethnographic photographs perpetuate stereotypes or misconceptions about indigenous communities here in the Philippines? So siguro kayang-kaya naman ni Isabel Almario.
Yes, i-showcase mo ang galing mo, Hotamaraw.
Ito na. So, actually, dun sa isang nabanggit ni Brandon kanina, photograph has power. So, I think yun talaga yung main theme nitong podcast natin. Kasi, wala nga, yung mga nangyari before, yung history natin, na-wipe out yun nung na-start tayo ma-colonize. And, one of the things na nakaka-apekto doon sa pagkakaroon ng stereotype at saka misconception is yung kawalan natin ng knowledge sa identity natin. Tayo mismo as Filipinos. So, again, photographs are powerful kasi kung ano yung nakikita natin, kung ano yung pinapakita natin sa harapan natin, yun yung pinaniniwalaan natin. So, again, yung picture kanina, like sa previous slide, parang savage to civilized. So, yeah, naka-slouch, yung damit niya, very indigenous centered, yung ganon. Pero, parang umayos yung, what do you call that? Yung tayo niya, nagbago yung posture. nagbago yung posture niya nung nagkaroon na ng maayos na damit, so like naging civilized. So, yung lack of knowledge natin and loss of identity, isa yun sa mga nakaka-apekto sa paniniwala natin sa ibang tao other than ourselves. Tapos, again, yung erasure of past. So, dahil wala tayong record or nabawasan, doon mas naniniwala tayo sa mga written recordings, works of art, or again, photography. So, kung ano yung nakikita natin dito sa picture na, yung mga Pilipino, ganyan lang pala sila, or savage sila before. Kaya, ngayon, kailangan natin magpasalamat sa mga colonizers kasi inayos nila tayo. They portray us as people na kailangan ng fixing, even though we have different cultures. And dito pumapasok yung colonial gaze. Yung colonial gaze is, they see us as something that's easily controlled, yung kailangan ng pag-ayos. Tapos, nagkakaroon dito ng power dynamics. And in this case, it is the colonial power dynamics. Tapos, nagkakaroon din ng superiority at saka inferiority complex. Since ang tingin ng mga colonizers sa Pilipinas or sa mga Pilipino ay mas mababa, tinatry nila tayo baguhin to fit their own perspectives, their own ideas. Kasi nga, iba tayo ng cultures. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And because of that, because mataas na yung tingin natin sa kanila at nagkakaroon tayo ng inferiority complex. Kaya, nagko-complement yung superiority complex ng colonizers and yung inferiority complex natin as Filipinos.
I agree with Almario ka-partner. Pero totoo yung sinabi niya na yung, like yung perception natin, until up to this day, na yung perception natin, yung parang ang taas ba ng tingin natin sa mga foreigners dahil na magaling sila mag-English with their physical appearance, parang super taas. And tapos, pag yung mga OFWs natin, ang tingin naman doon, parang ang baba ng tingin sa atin doon ng mga foreigners.
Yes, agree ako dyan. Lalo na, it is undeniably true that we're labeled as primitive individuals kasi. Kasi, share ko lang din dun sa kay Dean Worcester, yung isa sa photographs niya, yung caption niya is a typical Negrito man, which imposes stereotypes talaga. And this reverberates up to this day since marami pa rin na nakaka-experience na ating mga kako-Filipino from Western countries, yung mga ganyan mga racism, no?
Yeah, so with that, thank you for that wonderful insight, Almario. So moving on naman, so papaano naman ang impact ng stereotypes and misconceptions sa modern day society?
May point ka partner. Sure ako masasagot yan ng ating mga co-tamers, no?
Yeah, so I think may masishare dito si Therese. So Therese, what impact has this perpetration of stereotypes and misconceptions had on the modern day society?
Ayan, so una, ano mo ng stereotyping? Siyempre, yun yung pagkakaroon ng idea or belief about certain group of people. It can be about their age, gender, or race. And usually, yung mga opinion na to is hindi totoo or based lang sa kung ano nakikita nilang panlabas na kaanyuan or dahil kulang sa understanding, kumbaga, sa mga subjects na to. And bakit nga ba ito nangyayari? Siyempre, naging factor na rin kung paano tayo pinalaki ng mga bata tayo dahil we're easily influenced by our parents sa mga taong nakapalibot sa atin. And yung mga stereotypes and misconception is talagang may impact sa modern day society dito sa Pilipinas. Kumbaga, diba tayo mga Pilipino is may mga sinasabi ng mga iba na uncivilized daw and kumbaga mahirap, ganyan, lacking social skills. So, yung mga stereotypes is talagang naapektuhan yung kumbaga kung paano kunyari tayo, paano na-influence yung mga opinions natin or yung beliefs about sa mga tao na to.
So, tama yun kako-tamer, no? So, ang i-share ko lang, yung it is imperative talaga na na-experience pa rin natin yung racism up to this day. Kasi, in one of the researches conducted by Neil Ruiz, yung findings doon is that 58% of Southeast Asian individual adults are experiencing racism. Kung dati, ang racial slur sa atin is about a typical Negrito man, maitim, maliit, nakaslouch, bad posture. Ngayon naman, we're labeled as monkey mens or yung mga gugus. Kaya naman, it is very rampant pa rin up to this day, no?
Actually, that's very disheartening ka, partner. Specifically doon sa sinabi mo, statistics. Pero moving on to the next question, lalagyan ko una naman ng onting twist. So, ikaw naman ang tatanungin ko, ka-partner.
Grabe, ka-partner, gumanti ka pa talaga sa akin, ha?
Siyempre, parang fair and square lang tayo here. And since naman lahat ng guests natin ay sasagot. So, with that, ang question ko sa'yo is, how does ethnographic, the American gaze photography relate to social media?
So, grabe, nakaka-nosebleed yung tanong mo. Pero kayang-kaya kong sagutin yan, ka-partner. So, in relation to your question, magbibigay ako ng 3 points about the interconnectedness of social media and ethnographic photography. So, the first point is that it is about power agency. The second one is about ethical consideration and consent. And the third one would be the myth-making capacity of this two medium. So for the first one, about power agency, as we all know, photography or photographers possesses a huge power because they have the ability to manipulate its context, lalo na here in the Philippines or yung mga naging victims ng American colonialism. Tayong lahat naging victim actually dahil na nga we're labeled as primitive individuals, uncivilized, dahil kinuha nilang subject is yung geographically distant na mga tao. So, this includes yung mga indigenous people. While in relation naman sa social media users such as influencers, bloggers, lalo na si Christopher Min, they have the ability to manipulate the context. Kaya nga nakakasuhan si Christopher Min, di ba? Ng iba't ibang celebrity. And about naman sa ethical consideration and consent, since as we all know, photography, just like what Ansel Adams highlighted in the reading about old photographs, that photography is a symbol of exploitation, which deviates from ethicalities of photography because nagamit ang Filipinos to become the subject sa experiment nila, especially sa Western countries. And yung in relation naman sa social media, since madali lang mag-save ng mga photos, madaling mag-share, so nade-deviate yung consent. Parang madali lang nating nakukuha yung mga pictures and madali lang tayong mag-share. Kaya nga laganap dito yung misinformation and disinformation. And yung last one naman, yung main topic natin is about the myth-making capacity of photography and as well as social media. Since photography has the capacity nga, since I've mentioned earlier na merong capacity ang photography to manipulate yung context. Kaya naman, nagawa to ni Dean Worcester na gawing uncivilized yung Filipinos para makapag-impose ng stereotypes, para nga ma-justify yung kanilang pananakop. While naman sa social media, since during the past election, di ba, yung myth-making about the Marcoses, yung para ma-justify naman nila yung wealth nila, so naglaganap sila ng myths that sa kanila napunta yung about Taliano Gold para nga ma-justify yung wealth. And gumamit sila dito ng mga influencers and bloggers just like Dean Worcester, and these individuals are prominent individuals kaya malaki yung influence nila sa mga tao. Kaya naman in summary, highlighting these issues is very pivotal for us to address the elephant in the room, which is yung power ng photography and yung power din ng social media, di ba? So talagang relate yun sa ating mga naging special topic, no, kapartner?
Grabe. Based sa answer mo, makakita na very rampant yung pag-spread ng myths, misinformation, disinformation from past hanggang ngayon sa present. Like yung Dean Worcester and ang mga Marcoses, like how they utilize the social media or mga influencers para to clear their names with the allegations towards sa kanila. Parang mas palinisin yung pangalan nila.
So, moving on naman, let's dive in naman sa importance and effects nito sa atin, no, kapartner?
Yeah, I agree with you. Syempre, importante na aware tayo sa importance and effects. Pero, may gusto ba sumagot sa atin?
Syempre naman, mga tama raw siya. Alam kong very intelligent, resilient, and courageous yung mga yan.
O parang buhat bangko tayo dito sa SU Pero I agree with you. So siguro let's call on Richmond and Terrace to answer our question. So the question is, what is the importance of understanding this relationship and what effects does it have on us?
Okay, so to answer that question, so alam naman natin ngayon na mostly all of the people use social media platforms. So lalo na sa ating mga Pinoy, tayo kasama tayo sa ranking na pinakamataas na social media usage. So which is why when you post something sa online, it can probably reach a wider audience. So same din yun sa pag-post natin ng ethnographic pictures. So not only will people see it, but also the indigenous people themselves can also engage in social media where they can show their halimbawa, for example, their day-to-day lives or kung paano sila mamuhay to break the stereotypes na pinoportray sa kanila. So by using social media, pwede natin gamitin tong platform to raise awareness for the importance of ethical representation, since lalo na ngayon kakaunti ang representation for our IPs and mostly na isasantabi lang natin sila. Though may law siya pero hindi ganun strong yung for them. So by spreading awareness for this importance, yung mga makakakita nun, ma-empower them, not just the IPs but sa mga other people din na nakaka-experience na na-deny sila in some way. So by being responsible consumers of social media, it is also important na maging cautious sa kung ano mga nakikita natin as mainly mabilis nga tayo na mapaniwala kung anong nakikita natin, especially sa mga pictures. Madali tayo mag-form ng mga thoughts natin kung ano yung nakikita lang natin as of the moment. So by understanding the importance of ethnographic photography, not only it preserves our traditions, it also promotes understanding and it challenges stereotypes. So our country is a diverse one, which is why by learning other cultures of our own, it strengthens our cultural identity and it can give us a deeper appreciation sa ating traditions and heritage, and in which we can share it to the world kasi nga proud tayo sa culture and heritage na meron tayo. And so hindi tayo ashamed na ipakita sa ibang tao na ganito tayo. So yon.
Syempre agree ako dyan sa ating mga kutamera sa sagot nila. Kaya naiintindihan ko na yung main goal nila or yung pinaparating nila is that we should be ethical users of social media. At masisingit ko dyan yung sinabi nga ni Uncle Ban na with great power comes with great responsibility. Just like using social media, it really comes with great responsibility. And hindi lang nag-e-end yun doon. Kasi sa photography din, like ethnographic photography, it really has the power. So meron tayong responsibility din na ina-uphold.
I agree with you, ka-partner. And of course, sa answers nila. So, kailangan talaga, yung sa pag-understand pa lang natin, doon sa meaning ng ethnographic photograph and all, pwede natin ma-utilize yung mga platforms natin, like social media platforms, to spread awareness to other people. And with that, dapat nga we should be proud pa sa mga indigenous people natin kasi they are the ones na nag-preserve ng culture natin and ng land natin. And I believe then na we influence someone and we were influenced by someone. So, I agree with you na dapat maging careful tayo when it comes to sharing information or pictures, photographs sa social media natin. So, ayan. Finally, we're at the last question na. So, nandito pa ba yung mga tama raw guests natin?
Grabe, ang haba-haba nun. Pero time flies, no? Hindi ko namamalayan yung oras since ang healthy nung discussion natin at nakakapag-learn tayo sa isa't isa, no?
Yeah, I agree with you, ka-partner. So here, for the last question, what actions do you propose should be taking regarding the representation of indigenous communities in photographic photographs? So, ako naman po nung sawagot, partner. So for us to improve the representation of indigenous communities in ethnographic photography, but we should collaborate with them closely. Actually, I learned before sa previous subject na GED na CW na yung mga indigenous people, very very cooperative and very reachable naman sila sa specifically sa government. So sa collaborate with them closely, kailangan ma-ensure natin yung perspective ng IP people, IP photographer, dapat yung sila ng perspective, dapat the photographer should ask consent doon sa indigenous people. And to prioritize dito yung dignity ng indigenous people, kung dapat ma-inform sila kung ano yung context ng photograph na yun, or dapat focus here yung cultural significance doon sa mismong subject. With that, we should emphasize more yung empowerment ng indigenous communities natin here in the Philippines for them to tell their stories, thereby fostering authenticity and self-representation.
I feel like lahat naman tayo, pare-pares tayo ng ideas regarding this. Ang naisip ko dito si yung picture siya ng isang vlogger na parang magtuturo daw offline paano kasi diba hindi siya yung ginagawa. Pero it turns out hindi yung totoo and ang scam sila. So I think kailangan talaga ng transparency. Again, banggit na kanina, kailangan alam mo yung pictures, gagamitin what's the ganon. So, yeah, ayun. Complete transparency.
For me naman, to summarize all the aforementioned ideas and insights. So, but just be well versed and knowledgeable about the current issue, especially about ethnographic photographs and modern racism, we can help break the status quo that concerns with these issues. So, it is kanyang ginagawa natin ngayon podcast where we exchange knowledge. Nagiging beneficial siya kasi nagiging knowledgeable about the current issue that surrounds here in the Philippines and worldwide. So, social media also, since nabanggit ko na it holds a huge power, so can educate other people or their awareness about indigenous people or about reducing racism. So, ikaw ka-partner, may idadagdag ka pa ba?
I think wala na naman ka-partner. I think our Tamaros had explained it naman na. So, yes, we agree with them that photography has been long used for myth making in manipulating context, both from the past and the present.
And with the emergence of technological advancements, specifically yung social media, naging mas easy yung pag-share ng myths and pag-create where it is imperative sa pag-photograph as a medium na has become rampant in today's society, no?
Yeah, it's really disheartening lang. Yung mga foreign countries continuously exploiting resources to people.
Yes, I just hope some people have come to our senses, no? So, ikaw, kapart, may baka pa bang sabihin?
Well, I guess that concludes our episode today. So, shall we wrap things up na?
I think yes.
Okay, so thank you for our guest Tamaros today for sharing their unfiltered thoughts on pressing issues in the Philippines.
So, thank you everyone, especially to our listeners for their pakikinig. See you all on the next episode of Laging Tama Raw, ang mga Tama Raw, always in the purpose of the Tama Raw.